This is Food Chemistry Unit 4, Chapter 15, Food Analogs, Substitute Ingredients. By definition, a substitute ingredient could be natural or a manufactured substance. It's used in place of traditional food products or ingredients. This area of research grew in the last half of the 20th century. Functions include saving money, you could change the nutritive value of foods, you could improve the performance of foods, or replace ingredients for health reasons. Sugar substitutes. Sweet is most people's favorite taste. The brain uses glucose as a fuel. Excess calories from sugar, though, result in weight gain. So there's a consumer demand for low-calorie foods that taste like high-calorie foods. Non-nutritive sweeteners are known as artificial sweeteners. They do not provide energy. They add a sweet flavor to foods without adding sugar or calories, but they should be used in moderation. So saccharin is an artificial sweetener. It's stable in a wide range of foods under extreme processing conditions. Now, this is the oldest. Was discovered in 1879. It's economical, which means it's cheap to make, and it's 2,000 times, has 2,000 times the sweetening power of sugar. It will leave a bitter aftertaste at higher concentrations, and there was evidence that it caused bladder tumors in rats. So the FDA banned it in 1977, but Congress brought it back because there was strong public opinion against the ban. There was no other alternative at the time of the ban. In the year 2000, it was taken off the national list of toxins. 20 years of research has showed that there's no connection to bladder cancer in humans. So these pink packets, otherwise known as Sweet and Low, the product inside there is safe for consumption. Aspartame. This is a dipeptide of aspartic acid and phenylalanine. It is the most popular. Its flavor is identical to sugar. In 1981, the FDA gave it limited approval. In 1983, it was first put into carbonated drinks. Now it's in drinks, drink mixes, puddings, gelatin, chewing gum, frozen desserts, and pre-sweetened cereal. It is 200 times sweeter than sugar, but people with PKU or phenylketonuria are unable to digest phenylalanine, right? See that up here? So they can never use aspartame. They can use acesulfame potassium, which was approved in 1988 by the FDA. Sucralose. This is a disaccharide the FDA approved in 1995, and its use began in 1998. It's 600 times sweeter than sugar. It's added to baking blends with sugar, and it cuts the calories in half. You might know it as Splenda in the yellow packets, and you'll also see it in your flavored waters. Fat substitutes. The U.S. diet provides a larger percentage of fat than is recommended. So there's a consumer demand for the taste of fat without the calories, because fat carries the flavor in food. Too much fat in the diet leads to heart attack, stroke, diabetes. These can be starch-based or protein-based, and it's very difficult to mimic the flavor and feel of fat and reduce the calories. So modified fats. This is something like margarine, which was originally developed as a request from Napoleon III, who was the president of France. He offered a prize to a person who could develop an alternative to butter. Butter is mainly made from beef fat. So margarine gained popularity in the US in the 1940s. This is when butter was rationed. So color was added to margarine to make it look like butter. Margarine by itself is white, so a yellow color was added. Now in the 1960s, there was a concern for health with adding too much fat in the diet. So margarine was made from vegetable oil, which is lower in saturated fat than animal fat. So vegetable oil will be from a plant. So turning vegetable oil into solid margarine, however, produced trans fats. That process created a trans fat. Trans fats are now not allowed as a food ingredient because these can clog arteries, and they're just not good for the body at all. There's nothing good about them. Today's margarine is made from heart-healthy oils. And again, butter or margarine should be consumed in moderation. Manufactured fats, olestra. This is a sucrose polyester. It looks, feels, and performs like fat. The FDA approved it in 1996, which is the year I graduated college. And I'll tell you why I'm telling you this in just a second. Your body has no enzyme to break it down. It provides no calories, and it just passes through you undigested. If this is still around, which I believe it's no longer sold in the US, products have to have a warning label with this. So at that time when I graduated college, these potato chips came on the market. Okay, these were so good. So, you felt really good eating these, right? Because you could eat a lot and they weren't giving you a lot of fat. The problem was, if you ate too much of the olestra, they caused diarrhea. I personally didn't have this problem. I ate these with absolutely no problem. They were so good. But apparently, people had some bad reaction to it, so they're no longer sold in the US, but they were so good. All right, dairy substitutes. Lactose intolerance created a demand for this substitute. Vegan diets, right, have no dairy because there's no animal products involved. This is the largest category of dairy substitute is for milk. Substitutes can be produced from nuts. This is your almond and coconut quote-unquote milk. These almond and coconut quote-unquote milks, because they're not really milk, they're just labeled that way, have a higher fat content. Substitutes produced from grains like oat milk and rice milk will have a higher carbohydrate content. Substitutes produced from legumes like soy milk will have a higher fat content. All are stable mixtures of protein, oil, carbohydrates, and water. Now they're labeled as milk, but proper milk is actually produced from an animal. So farmers are still actively fighting that milk label, and it is yet to be settled.